It's great to be back here. Usually I get here with a little more elan, but I came in on a wing and a prayer this evening. And I'm very glad to be here. And, this is our rehearsal. It goes something like this. I know some of you here tonight were brought by your significant others. There are a lot of jazz fans in the room, that's true, but I know that there are one or two of you who did not want to come to the Glenn Miller Ballroom tonight, who said, come on, you want to hear jazz? Why do you want to hear jazz? Jazz has a reputation of being very complicated music. There are all these notes. What are they about? Where are they going? Can you sing them? Can you do it again? Well, look. In jazz, it's not important whether you can step in the same string twice. The major thing is, can you step in that string once? Sometimes we say in jazz there are no mistakes, there are only opportunities. I'm just trying to warm you up to the subject. But I have taken the time to synthesize down to 3 constituent parts that you can take to your hearts. I'm going to lay them on you, and when I do, you too will know everything you need to know about jazz music. This is a service we provide here at the Conference in World Affairs. This is a plenary session. There will not be an exam later, but it's very simple. Put away your pencils and papers. Check this out. Number one, the most important thing in jazz, and this has been true since the note first turned blue back in 1902. Pay attention. Most important thing in jazz? Mark. It's a bad romance. Now, I don't mean a sad romance. I don't mean a little 1 or 2 week affair might have gone square. I'm talking about the first cut is the deepest. And given all the bad romance in the room tonight, it's amazing more of you folks aren't up here trying to play this music. Number 2, second most important thing in jazz, and this has also been true since the note first turned blue when? 1902, thank you. Second most important thing in jazz? It's a good travel agent. You see, nothing will get you out of town faster than a bad romance. We know that. Oscar, you've been on the road a bunch too, haven't you? I'm not implying anything. I just noticed your schedule recently. Well, look, I want you to cast your minds back to the year that note first turned blue, 1902, the place. Lake Pontchartrain, Louisiana, just outside of New Orleans. It's a hot night. Moon is shining bright. You listen closely, maybe you can hear the sound of a trumpet being played loud and clear. Yeah! Yes, the most famous jazz man of the day. They say when this brother came to play, you could hear him 12 miles away back down on Basin Street. I'm talking about Buddy Bolden. Buddy Bolden? That's right, that's a horn he's holding. And I asked the rhetorical question, how many people in the room tonight have heard Buddy Bolden play? Anybody out here got a... Awful quiet, isn't it? And the reason? Simple. He didn't have himself a good travel agent. That's right, he never left town. Never left town, never recorded note number 1. That's right, it's just a memory now. But same night, same year, same moonlight, you can hear him loud and clear. Another young man, he had a horn in his hand, but believe me, he had himself a better plan. He picked it up, put it down, got himself way out of town. Kansas City, Mo, didn't stop there, kept going up to Chicago. New York City, crossed the Atlantic Pond. London, Paris, Moscow, Beijing. I believe they named the city of Seoul after this brother, the most famous jazz man who ever lived. Of course, I'm talking about Pops Louis Armstrong. This man had himself a good travel agent. This song really is about a young man whose true love was blind. He was crying all the time. Thought maybe he could find a new love in Paris, France. Gonna do the Paris dance. But when he got to town, all he found was he couldn't speak French. He was sitting on a bench all alone, child, not to mention embarrassed. But music is the language of love. Play on, play on, play on. But Paul was in town, so he thought maybe he'd make it on down to the Chat Qui Pêche and order himself a round of the rarest wine that is, wine that is. But as so often happens in this world of travail and cheap wine, you know the ridiculous becomes sublime. I think it's part of the great design. Tracy, are you with me? Your final reward, baby, it's down, down at the end of the line. Because just then someone put a sign on a box and a bird flew by, chasing a fox. As a bird fluttered by, he sang a hipper melody from the sky. Bebop, bebop, ain't nothing like the sound of the bebop. It's steady going on, and it don't never stop. That's right, bird fluttered by, he sang a slicker melody from the sky. Bebop, bebop, ain't nothing like the sound of bebop. It's steady going on, and it won't never stop. Slicker melody from the sky. Bebop, bebop, ain't nothing like the sound of bebop. Well, it's steady going on. Great, don't stop, don't stop. But I digress. I promised you 3 simple parts to take to your hearts, and so far I've only delivered 2. Maybe we should review. Number 1, the most important thing in jazz, it's a bad romance. Now, we don't mean a sad romance, a little 1 or 2 week affair, no, because you could just sort of take a day trip up to Aspen and forget the whole thing. We're talking Concord time. Number 2, of course, it's a good travel agent. You've got to get out and move. You want to play the groove. But number 3, and this is the inside stuff. You see, you got to come to the Conference on World Affairs to get the real inside stuff. You look like a bunch. Thank you. You look like a nice bunch of folks. So I'm going to lay this on you. Don't tell any of the musicians I told you this, because this is the secret stuff. This stuff gets out, well, a lot of trouble could start. The third most important thing in jazz, and it's the reason New Orleans was such a great jazz town. The reason why San Francisco is a great jazz town. New York, London, Paris, Barcelona, Tokyo. Well, third most important thing in jazz? Seafood. Well, what do you think Buddy Bolden was thinking of back there in Lake Pontchartrain? I happen to know. Soft shell crab. And what do you think got Louis Armstrong out of town? Red snapper. But ain't nobody said it better than that fine philosopher of jazz. I'm talking about Thomas Fats Waller. He gave us those immortal lines. He said, shrimp and mice. He said, shrimp and rice, mighty nice. He said, seafood, mama, that's what I want. He said, seafood, mama, that's what I need. He said, seafood, mama, that's what I want. He said, seafood, seafood. He said, seafood. Nothing like the sound of bebop and steady going. I like the sound of bebop and steady going. Nothing like the sound of bebop and steady going on. Child, and it won't ever stop. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's everything you need to know about jazz, bad romance, good travel agent, little seafood. History is simple when you look at it in the big picture. My friend Leo's been